Hey everybody, welcome back to a new video on the Young Chug YouTube channel. I'm not feeling so well today, so I figured that I would make a tutorial for how to play Just As Real But Not As Brightly Lit by Every Time I Die. It's an excellent song off of their album Low Teens that probably flies under the radar. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so let's dive into this. So this song is in D drop C. So this would be normally in D standard, but the bottom string is actually in C. So basically you have C, G, C, F, A, D. Now going into the first riff, it goes, I'll try to show off the finger positioning relative to what you're playing. So your index finger would be at 3, and your pinky finger would be at 6, so that you would start with. Then you would not move, but you would move with the song. You'll see it's a shift slide in the tab, and you basically go. And then we go back to the position we were before with our index finger at 3 and our pinky at 6. And play 6, 3, 5. Lastly, we move our fingers down to the first fret where we go 4, 1, 3, open 1. So altogether it sounds like this. And pretty much any time that I'm hitting an open string between actually just letting it ring at the start. So there's a difference between. So whenever you're playing those little open notes between actual power chords, basically, you would want to make sure that they're palm muted. Whereas like the difference is this. It makes a difference, and you want to be palm muting. So in the second version of this, which is it's all one riff for the start. So again, it's the that first half of that riff, and then you would be doing power chords from the A string, but this is actually a G. You hit the 5th fret and the 4th fret, and you do a power chord. And then you bring your pinky back to 8. So it's, and then you complete it with going back to the 3rd position, and you go 6, 3, 5. So altogether it sounds like this. And that actually repeats. So we'll move on to the next section, which is pretty much the same riff, except it's even less notes. So it sounds like this. And then you wait. And then you go 8, 3, 6, 1. And that is pretty much the key of the song in a way. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we go into that really sick riff. So playing it slowly, you basically, this 3, 5 is a hammer on. So you want to be, again, keeping your fingers around that 3, 6, 5 position with your index at 3, and focus on that, going between, alternating between the C and the G strings. And he basically he does that too here, where you'll see later in the song that it's a common theme, basically. So 3, 5, 6, and then 6, 3, 5. Right. So, and then 3 on the G string, and then the rest is on the C string of 1, 1, 1, 0. Actually, it's 1 2 times, so 3, 1, 1, 0. So playing that slowly. And then he goes 8 on the G string, slides up to 10, and hammer, and basically you kind of hammer on the 12 on the C, and then bend this 11. And then open on the C again, and 3, 5, 6. And then the first time he ends the riff in different times, and I think the tab would help out the most. The first time it's like this. Actually, he doesn't even play as a power chord, he just goes. And the second time he ends it, you would think he would go back to the 1 and finish it, but he doesn't there. This goes on for 4 times, and I think the only one that really is different, the ending is basically where it goes. And he's kind of tremolo picking, but not too quickly. I think it's 16th notes rather than 32nd notes, but you'll see one with 32nd notes later down the line. So after that, the next part starts, and we go back to this. So that's where you would actually play that. And then we go back to that opening riff. And we start a new riff. So playing that slowly, what you want to do is basically focus on really nailing those opens and making sure that it's not ringing out too much when you go and hit the 8 on the G string. It helps to use your middle finger to play that 8 and use your index finger behind it to almost like mute the strings. And that's a quick little run there where it goes 3, 5, 6, 4, 3, 1, 0. And that's on the C string, as the tab would show you. Then there's a small pause, and it's kind of hard to judge this pause actually, but I will put exactly how long it is right now on the screen. And you go into this next part, which is difficult. So the first time he goes into the riff, there's a pause and he just goes straight into it. Instead of, starting with. And then he's screaming, and you basically then get to a pause, and you see what I mean? That basically the first time he plays it, he does not, when he launches into the riff, he doesn't start with the 10 to 7. It's only after the first one he goes. And he uses this again as we saw from the earlier riff. That specific ending there. And we go back into it. You would try to do this as a slide. And try to do that slide with your ring finger, because as you slide into the 7, that puts you in a good position to do the rest of it. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think then the next part, it's like the earlier section, but the rhythm has changed. So as you see, it's repeated 2 times, and again, you're kind of focusing on the same thing. It's a different placement of the accents and a different cadence of the rhythm. Yeah. Try to think of that as its own part, and then the next, like you want to break this into subdivisions of a riff, and then the next part is open on the G. So this would be the first part, and the second part. Sorry, I'm going to do that without messing up. Okay. First part. Second part. Right, so that way you would basically, and then you go back. Different ending. Right, and then from there, we go into this really awesome riff that is based around the rest of the song and everything. 1, 2, 3. It starts with basically 1 open. You alternate pick this. It's the 8 again on the G string. I always mess that up, but basically, so the riff from the start. It's very similar to the riff we just did, where basically it's the same kind of notes being used there. And you go open 5, 4, slide into the 8, open, open 8, 3, 4, 1. I would suggest playing the 8 with your, I would suggest playing the 8 with your middle finger, barring it with 1 finger, and then you slide into the 3, which makes it kind of sound seamless, whereas opposed to using your index to play it and then sliding into the 3 is a little different. But do it however which way that you like it. So let's just play this slowly, that specific riff, because this one definitely gives me the most trouble from the song. Eight, and here you want to do just like an octachord, where you would be muting the middle string between the G and the D, or sorry, the C and the D. And you would be at 8 to 3. It's pretty hard to get that and make it sound in tune and not terrible. But anyways, let's do it one more time. So then, back into this. And sorry, this is where the 32nd notes come in, just like the 16th notes in the other section. Sorry, I'm really bad at tremolo picking, but that's kind of what we're going for. Then we go back into the opening riff. And finally, there's a pause and he goes into the final section. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. Make sure you're muting between that, or else you would have like really heavy feedback instead. And that's kind of what he uses in the song, but it's hard to emulate unless you're like right in front of an amp. That basically happens 4 times, and then finally the last riff. So it's open, open, 8, open, 8, open, 8, open, 8. Wait, sorry. And that's it, you're done. So as always, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos because I have lots of things planned, and I cannot wait to bring it to you guys. Leave a like on the video so that other people can see how to play this song. And yeah, make sure that you practice and take it easy. All right, have a great day.